Hey everyone, so I'm going to go over an update for my Hierophant Armageddon brand build that I've been doing for 3.5 in Betrayal. We're going to start with the main skill, which is Armageddon brand, and then these are going to be in order of importance. So we got Armageddon brand, supported by Controlled Destruction, into Fire Penetration, and then into Elemental Focus. These would be the four gems that I would use before you get a 6 link or a tabby. If you get a 5 link, then I would run increased area of effect, and then that's going to help with your clear speed. And then last link would be increased critical strikes. You could swap these two around actually. That's going to help with proccing your crit if you're going to go crit like me. And then we're going to go into how we're moving around, where I initially used Flame Dash with faster casting, and now I'm kind of set up to do proc my Fortify with Shield Charge and faster attacks. I have my utilities set up with Immortal Call, cast 1 damage, increased duration, and then cast 1 damage taken. This is going to proc when you take a big hit and nullify any damage that you're going to be taking during that time. And then for generating power charges right now, I'm using Orb of Storms with power charge on critical, increased crit strikes, and faster casting. This is just going to generate our power charges while we're mapping. I'm using a Summon Light Golem that's going to help with cast speed, which is helping our activation for our brand. And then there's a few things that we can do for single target. I'm currently leveling a concentrated effect. I just pulled it out of my secondary right now, that I will probably swap for late game maps. Like right now I'm having no issues with bosses. But I feel like whenever we get into like red tier maps, we may have to swap out increased area of effect for concentrated effect. Now, early on, you can not go elemental focus. I didn't. I'm only doing this now because it's just a huge damage increase. So we're not scaling ignite or anything, but it's just pummeling enemies very quickly. So elemental focus is a huge damage increase. What we can do is pull this out and replace it with combustion, which will help with some ignites. It's not necessary, but at this point, then you can run Herald of Ash and Herald of Ice, which helps a lot with your clear speed. I'm not super fast. I just not like my main playstyle with this build. It's I can still loot and everything without like slowing down too much because the brands are kind of just doing all the work. So I like elemental focus, way more damage, and then we're just gonna go right into the skill tree from this point. So we picked up Hierophant for our normal lab run. I picked up Sign of Purpose first because this is the big one that increases our cooldown recovery speed for brand recall, which is like the main skill I'm actually using in the game for this build. And then I went with Illuminated Devotion, and then right from Merc for my Mercenary Lab, I did Arcane Blessing. Then we proc our Arcane Surge with the brands while they're attacking. So these are up until Merc Lab. Uber Lab, I'm going to go a little more defense with Divine Guidance. I think this is going to help us out with our red maps and getting our bonus for our Atlas. If you want to go, this is a more tanky setup that I'm going, especially because I'm not using any mana reservation. I'm going to have full mana, and I think it's going to be pretty good for doing some endgame content. At least that's what my plan is. If somebody wants this build for more faster clearing, I wouldn't take Divine Guidance. I'd go straight for Conviction of Power. That's going to eliminate you having to cast your Orb of Storms to generate your power charges. This is going to do it automatically for you, and it's going to be really good for clearing. If you go with this route, go remove Elemental Focus, and you're going to use your Herald of Ash and your Herald of Ice setup. For the rest of the tree, I'll have in the description of the video my character profile for Path of Exile, so you can upload it right into POB. But I'll also put my POB paste bin, and it has some leveling ways, a leveling tree to help out those that need help with what nodes you're going to pick up first. So that'll be in the description below. Some of the main keystones that you're going to grab is Rune Binder. This is going to help with having more than one brand attached to an enemy, because currently without this you can only have one. And then you'll have, like right now I have 6 brands, and if I didn't have this, then there would be four brands just sitting there doing nothing on single target. Which is another reason why the brand recall is so important, because you can recall all 6 brands onto the single target and they overlap, which is really big damage, really good. And then the runesmith along with the explosive runes are kind of required for this build, because the recall is so important with dealing single target damage. We picked up majority of the critical chance nodes, all the way over here to Doomcast, and we picked up Light of Divinity, and down here into the crit reel from over here in the shadow. And then we're gonna go over a little bit how it's played. I just picked up. I got a tier 3 map here, or here. These are just tier 2. I've made it into maps with this. I haven't had any issues. So we'll just play through this map real quick to give you a quick look on how it's doing. So let's just do my 6 brands, and then I'm just gonna be recalling. Anything that drops, this is what I like about it. See, like, all I'm doing is just casting recall, and then you can still run around and pick up loot that's dropping and let the brands run around the map and do what they need to do. Every once in a while you'll cast a brand, but it's far and few between, because recall regenerates the cooldown, or regenerates the duration at which the brands are attached or detached. So we're just popping recall and letting the brands go in and take care of majority of the damage. Or all of the damage, I should say. And then every once in a while we'll do our Orb of Storms to regenerate our power charges. You only got to do that every 10 seconds or something. As you can see, it's a pretty tanky build. It does pretty good. I'll show you how that works with the syndicates.
Keep the cargo rolling. I'll be back soon. Never back down from a fight.
It pretty much eliminates them. Does really good. So that's a little demonstration. We'll go over a little bit more about how this recall works on single target. So when you recall, if you see, they all go in a circle there. And if you see they're not disappearing, they're right here, up here in the top right or top left. And you can just keep recalling and it refreshes their duration, so you can just run around with them. That's how I've been playing it. I really enjoy it. You can see there they just started going away from their but there, you see how fast you can cast them. So the base duration is 10 seconds, and then you can increase that duration by 1.2 seconds every time you call, do brand recall. So that's how I've been doing it. Hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, everything that I've been doing is going to be down below in the description. My Path of Exile profile, and my paste bin for POE will be there. There's a couple of nodes here that I'd like to show that you don't have to necessarily take, that you can go for a little more tanky if you need to. These AoE nodes are not necessary. I picked them up for faster clear, especially in the early maps. Probably late game maps, I might get rid of them. I'm not sure yet. It all depends on how it's playing into mid to late game maps. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. You can also see me playing this build live on Twitch. In the description below is my link, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks.